So I got a buddy who's being taken through the freaking ringers right now. And this isn't the first time I've heard a story like this. I remember when I was 25 years of age, a young man, and I came back to my hometown. I ventured out a few times across the country, across the state, but then I came back. And I connected with a couple guys on Facebook that I used to know from high school. Lo and behold, I go over to this house that they're all splitting rent on, right? And what's crazy is all three of these guys were divorced. Yeah. 25 years of age. It's just effing crazy. So, one of the guys had a daughter. Of course, he was paying child support on her. He had about 20% custody. The other two guys were in a similar situation. One of the guys was still seeing the broad. He had kids with her. She divorced him. She ran off for a bit. Then she came back. And even when I was there, not even kidding you guys, I only spent a couple days on and off hanging out with these guys. And when I was there during one of those days, this chick comes over and he goes to the bedroom and claps cheeks, right? And then he comes out and brags about it. Oh, he tapped it again or whatever. I mean, this is the chick that he had kids with who left him and now is coming back for some more. I mean, I don't know. Maybe their situation wasn't that bad, but this video isn't about him. It's just crazy how there were three guys in the same fucking situation. And they're all living like cockroaches in that little house. I mean, it was not bad. It's kind of like a bachelor pad or whatever, like literally. But I mean, it made me hesitate even more in the way of being very selective with who I pick. Now, a lot of us know by nature, the reality is women are the ones who select their mates. It's a lot more of a commitment for them. They have to bear the child for 9 months, go through all the turmoil, all the pain, all the risk. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones who take in and pick. We're the ones who just put out. You know, guys just don't really give a shit where their seed goes. They'll put it in 10 broads in a day by nature. Of course, I wouldn't recommend that today. You're probably going to catch something out there. And if you don't catch something, you'd be paying child support like all my old boys. But you guys see where I'm going with this? I was already hesitant. Ever since I was a little duck. And my parents stayed together. A lot of these folks are from divorced homes, and I'm telling you guys right now, if there's one thing you get from this video, if you meet abroad and her parents are divorced, you really gotta be careful. You know, I know it's easier to say from my position, and I know that a lot of us guys get bamboozled, right? It's been a couple months since we had any action. This cute little chick comes along, starts bouncing around in front of us, you know? Sometimes we make bad decisions. Sometimes we're like, I'm just going to let her suck on it for a minute. And then sure enough, you don't even know where the time goes and you're hooked up with this chick. She's living with you and you're talking about marriage and you have a kid or whatever. You see? You gotta be fucking careful. Have you guys seen the statistics? if you hook up with a chick who's divorced and you try to marry her or whatever, the chances of you guys getting divorced is exponentially higher than if you were to date a girl whose parents stuck it together. All right. Like, looking at it from afar, I would not risk it with a chick whose parents are divorced. And that's not even saying the chick herself was divorced. I mean, that's a whole nother issue. Obviously, if they were divorced, you're fucked. There's like 100% increased chance of her divorcing you. I mean, it's just crazy. All the layers to this shit. Which is the point. You gotta be careful out there. Now, going back to my buddy. This isn't the guy who was this isn't one of the guys who was living in that house. This is a separate situation, all right? And I've spoken with this guy many times recently. When I was about 21 years of age, I met this girl through a little social volunteer-esque scenario, right? I was volunteering for something, and so was she. I don't generally volunteer for shit, but I guess I did in those days. Didn't have anything else to do. I don't know. She was sort of pursuing in a sense where she got my number, right? And this normally isn't the situation. In fact, I think that's how my buddy ended up with her. And I wasn't interested in her in that way. I was still getting over some other broad who dumped me in the time. I wasn't all that good at the game in those days. I mean, I was okay, but I wasn't over this other chick, right? So my thoughts were, when this girl asked for my number through this volunteer situation, we would talk to each other, we kind of work together is the thing. And she must have liked my energy. I don't know. But she was like, oh, we should do something sometime. So we exchanged numbers, right? And my thoughts were, okay, it's not a bad thing to have girls for friends because you might meet some of their friends. And if other girls out in public see you hanging out with a girl, it actually increases your sexual marketplace value. Because women like it when a guy portrays that other girls are okay with hanging out with him. It's just one of those many things that helps. So that's why I did that. I was like, okay, I kind of know the ropes here. I could go out with her in the town or whatever, or downtown, hang out. Other broads will see me with her. Hell, maybe I'll hit on a chick in front of her. I don't know. And we'll just be friends, you know? So we hung out a little bit. We played some tennis. We did this and that. And I don't know if she was pursuing me or not. I mean, it wasn't even on my mind because I wasn't interested in her. But I started thinking, I was like, you know, this chick is a year older than me. So she was like 22 in those days. And I was like, I'm definitely not into her. I mean, I don't know if she's into me or whatever. It's kind of beside the point. But I always hated seeing a broad go to waste. So I started thinking, I was like, oh, this poor girl, this aging girl. I mean, you had to think of it now. It's not very old. But I mean, it is kind of old in a sense. Back in the day, folks were hooking up really young, you know? Having kids really young. It's just a new phenomena. For it to be normal to be fucking single, even in your early 20s, you know? Those are the years you're supposed to be paired up, prosperous members of society, etc. And we were just whacking a ball across court, you know? Just friends or whatever. So I was like, okay. Do I have any buddies who might... I was like, aha. There's this one buddy that I know. I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't think he was as good at the game as I was. He wasn't as pursuing as I was. You know, I would go out, I'd cold approach broads, I'd meet chicks, this and that. And he was more standoffish. He was scared. You know, I don't mean to be mean, but I mean, I think he was kind of a pussy when it came to that. All right, he was a tough guy. This and that. A lot of people liked him, thought he was funny, but he just didn't really have that drive or motivation or courage to to go after the broads, you know? So I said, oh, I'll call him. I was like, yeah, the other girl broke up with him some months back. He's been single, just busting his ass. I was like, let me call him. And at the time, he was 22 or 21. I don't remember. Somewhere in that range, about a year older than I was. So I called him up. I was like, hey, man, I'm hanging out with this girl. It's like, so-and-so's her name. Why don't we all get together? In my mind, I was like, I could hook these two up. And then I won't really feel bad on taking off on this girl. I mean, I don't know if she's into me or not. But I had other things, I was like, this isn't really helping. I had other things, I mean, I probably got a couple numbers of some other chicks in those days, and I was pursuing them. I was like, I don't got time to hang out with this other broad. So we all get together. I'm hanging out with a girl, right? I call him up. He comes over. And then I don't remember what we did, but my intention was to get them together. To get them associated, maybe get them to switch contact or whatever so we could all be friends, right? And then go our separate ways, and I could sort of just, let them do what they're going to do. And that's exactly what happened. Lo and behold, this guy ends up marrying the chick. Now, they did break up once, and I think he knew better at that point. In fact, yeah, I don't want to get too much into the personal stuff, but I think he might have known better. But the girl came back, and he took her in again. In fact, I think he broke it off with her. Because there was something about her. You guys gotta utilize your intuition. I knew there was something with this girl. I mean, I'm pretty selfish, but that doesn't mean I want a broad who's selfish, And there was something about this chick. Narcissism or whatever, is that the word they use? I don't know. She was something like that. I could tell it was really fucked up. I could tell, at surface value, she was good at playing that she was like a good housewife material, whatever, but I knew it. There's something off about her. And sure enough, I don't care to go into it too much more. He marries a chick. Of course, years later, shit starts getting really shaky. They have all sorts of kids. She starts kicking him out of the house. Right? He has to live somewhere else. Years later, she divorces his ass. He didn't want it. He did anything he could to stop it. But with some girls, there's just no reasoning with them. And I knew it from the get-go. This is one of those girls. So now I'm witnessing this whole thing take place, right? And my buddy has now been divorced for a couple of years. And now he's going through the ringer with these lawyers and all that shit. I'm thinking, damn, what a business. Because my buddy, he hasn't had action now in years, right? He's still kind of afraid to approach him. And I'm trying to push him along here. Be like, come on, man. Remember the old days? Remember how I'd go out there to pursue women, this and that? Come on, you can do that. Right? Right? I mean, I'd go out with him and do it. But the problem is, I have a couple of wives, and they don't really want me doing shit like that. So with that being said, I'm out of the game, and he's on his own. So he's not very good at that. And I don't know what it's going to look like for him. And the thing is, what happens with these guys is when they have the kids, this and that, they have the divorce. Of course, the woman always gets the better end of the stick by far. I mean, this is just continually the scenario, right? Like 90% of the time, the woman is heavily favored in the divorce courts, this and that, right? That's just how the shit works these days. So what's crazy is his lawyer's some broad. And he keeps throwing money at this thing, just going further and further. And then I don't know who, I think she's just making all the money and the judges are making all the money. And he's probably going to get the same damn result he has right now. Is kind of my guess. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm just speculating here. These divorce lawyers, especially ones who are broads, they must be fucking rich. Because you think about it. A lot of the time, most guys aren't getting action, right? Like we've established that in the last couple of videos, like 80-90% of men aren't getting any action because the women are all sharing the top ones. They're riding the carousel, to put it plainly. They're okay with sharing these men. You know, the guys are getting like one Chad is getting like 20 women in his rotation. So that's why you got this mass multitude of men who aren't eating nothing, right? And I hate to say it, but right now he's one of those guys. So what happens when one of these sort of lone wolves meets up with a chick who's a lawyer who sweet talks him into keep giving her more money to try to win, his family back? I mean, guys are easily wooed, And I just saw this video on YouTube of this chick who's a divorce lawyer. She's really cute. She was done up in her little dress, nice pasty skin, big beady eyes, little heels on. She's getting interviewed by some guy about her job. And she seemed hesitant when the guy asked her, is it a good idea for men to get married these days? And she was like, well, divorces are really going up. It's kind of her response to that. And I'm thinking, damn. What a niche, because these lonely guys, they rarely get to even talk to good looking women, So if you get a divorce lawyer chick who's like relatively good looking, just imagine he goes and meets with her and he tells her all about his problems. And she's like, oh yeah, oh, you poor thing. She almost is comforting him to an extent. So that's like fueling this relationship, where he's like, wow, this girl's talking to me and comforting me and telling me I'm right, telling me, yeah, I deserve the kids, definitely, and my ex-wife doesn't, all the bad things that she's done, and she's siding with you. I mean, that's her job. She's a freaking lawyer. Just imagine that. These chicks must be rich. But of course, they're probably always needed more money, so it's fueling their career. Because, broads, they do spend most of the money in consumerism. I think the last report I saw, about 80 to 90% of all consumerism is done by women, right? They're spending most of the money. So even with these divorce lawyer chicks, I mean, say they're millionaires, doesn't really fucking matter. They keep living at the edge of their finances. It's just how it generally works. They keep getting the new cars, the bigger houses. They're very independent, very strong-willed, so they probably can't really find a guy. I mean, they don't really want a guy who's under them financially. So the guys who are above them financially, they don't want a girl who's all career-driven and shit, who's talking to other men for a living. They want a chick who's submissive. They don't give a shit if she has a job at all. I mean, I know I don't. Why would you want your chick to go out and slave somewhere else in front of a bunch of other men all day? When by nature, it's the man's job to be a provider and protector, I mean, it just seems like it's sort of a, I don't know what you call it. It's a sort of vortex of fucking chaos when you have a chick who's in that situation. Because she doesn't want any of the guys, and the guys who she does want probably don't want her. Because she's a dependent woman, this, that, and the third, I mean, it's just how it fucking works. I'm just stating the nuance of nature here, okay? I'm just a messenger. These are just Iceman meditations. This is real shit, all right? This is real talk. The point being is you guys gotta fucking be careful out there. I mean, these divorce lawyers and shit, especially ones who are chicks, they're just making bank off you. Guys burn everything that they have. All the time invested, and they probably end up in the same situation. They probably end up without getting the kids in the end. The lawyer wins, the courts win, and the dude who's the victim, he blows all his freaking savings on this. He puts himself in debt over it, all in the justification of, oh yeah, I think I'm going to be able to get the kids. Just one more court case, one more digging up this and that and the third. We're going to run it one more time. We're going to spend another 10 grand. Yeah, I'm going to go in debt over it, but overall it's going to pay for itself because I'm not going to have to pay the child support anymore. But how often is that even the case? Does anyone know? I mean, I'm not really trying to be such a pessimist here, but it just seems like from the world I've observed, it just, It doesn't generally work out that way. You know, these guys waste all their money, this and that. They're still, and they don't win. You know, yeah, of course the lawyer's going to say, oh, yeah, we won this case. We won that case. Oh, yeah, you're good to go. Just give us more money and we're going to, oh, yeah, you're a victim. This, you know, like, that's just my speculation. The point being, you guys got to be careful with your mate selection. And that's what all these financial guys even say. And I watch all sorts of shit on YouTube. Even Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, whatever the hell his name was, the guy who passed away. This guy's like 97 years old. They both agree on this, man. From what I remember, one of them even said the most important financial decision you can make is who you choose as your mate. Think about that. These broads are, they're doing 80-90% of the spending, all right? You guys got to be careful. And you wouldn't believe it. I mean, my wives, they're very frugal, just like me. I mean, I think to an extent they learned from the Ice Boy. I mean, I don't really know. But they're out there, okay? They're out there. And my next video is going to be on that, where they're at, how to get them. You'd think, oh, I mean, they're not out there. There's no such thing, not in this world. They're all on Twitter. They're all on Tinder. They're all stuck on their phones. They've all been plowed through by 20 different guys by the time they're 20 years old. But I'm just saying, they're out there. And my next video will be on that. So you guys stay tuned to that. And if you will, like this video, subscribe to the page, hit the bell so you're notified next time I post a video. There's no sponsors on this channel. My only sponsors are you guys, not kissing the ass of any global corporations, none of that garbage. Not trying to sell you a little mug, some shaving bullshit, some little moisturizer. I mean, hell, I don't use moisturizer. Maybe I should. But I ain't trying to sell you guys any of this shit. You see what I'm saying? My sponsor is you. And blessings to those who watch the video. And blessings to my patrons. May the Creator bless you and keep you. And help you become wise. All right? So if you guys will, stay tuned for tomorrow's video. And I'll see you then. Peace be with you.